Hey everybody, Arnaldo here, broadcasting from Fidelity's Frequency. Welcome to my channel. You're probably wondering from the title and from the thumbnail of this video that I'll be talking about the Mobile Fidelity One Step of the Eagles Hotel California. Yes and no. There are quite a few videos out there and other reviews on various forums about this release. So and they've done such a phenomenal job describing in detail, as well as doing shootouts with other versions of this release. So I'm not going to go into that territory. I'll just leave you to search for them on YouTube. There's quite a few, and they've done an excellent job of it. Getting to the point of this video, the thumbnail, like I said, has a caption that says, "What a shame." What a shame is not referred at all to this release. I think MoFi did an excellent job. It is probably one of my favorite one steps that MoFi has put out. Definitely my go-to copy for Hotel California. I did hear a digital rip of the DCC, thanks to Scott Wilson from the Pressing Matters, and I was actually quite impressed. Although I will tell you that I compared it to my US original, and maybe I'll share a couple of thoughts on that. I've been listening to this record for, I want to say, probably 40 years, so I kind of know it by heart. And I'll just say one thing. When I put on this one step,
and it started, and already, this is audiophile. This is pure audiophile.
I heard things that I had never heard before, neither on my first Italian pressing that I bought in the early 80s, nor on the more recent, well, not more recent, it's still a US original, but I only acquired it maybe 5-6 years ago. I've heard things that I hadn't heard before. So I guess I can say that
I loved it from the first moment.
And what does it sound like?
It's warm, it's analog, it's vinyl, dead, quiet vinyl, but still vinyl, this warm, soft touch.
But besides that, I wanted to give you a little bit of history about my purchase of this one step. About 2 years ago, it was announced, along with the entire catalog of the Eagles being released on One Step. And I pre-ordered the first two and this one, which is my favorite Eagles album. And the first two titles came out, and I love them. They did a phenomenal job with that. But about a year ago, after the whole DSD gate, I kind of rethought all of the pre-orders that I had made. In addition to the Eagles, I had pre-ordered quite a few other Mobile Fidelity One Steps. I canceled them all, not in protest, but more in the fear of having jumped the gun, having maybe fallen prey of FOMO. And I figured I'd wait it out until the releases came out, and then hear other opinions from other trusted vinyl community members, other audiophiles, before I would just splurge on a expensive box set like this one. And I'm glad I did. I knew deep down inside that when the time came of this release being officially released, that I would buy it anyway, because again, Hotel California is my favorite Eagles albums, and I thought if they did such a great job with the first two, I'm sure they're going to do an excellent job with Hotel California. So in the end, what can I say about my purchase?
I have no complaint at all. I'm completely satisfied.
The point I'm trying to make is inherent to the whole DSD scandal. Let's call it scandal. These are like first world scandals from last year, when a certain faction of the vinyl community and audiophile community created an uproar against mobile fidelity. Yeah, they weren't very truthful. They implied that all of their releases, not even the regular MoFi releases, as well as the One Step, were all following an analog, pure analog chain. And until we found out that actually there is a digital step involved. So since then, like I said, I did cancel the pre-orders for the One Steps because they're very expensive and I really wanted to assess carefully before splurging on them. But since then, in the past year, I've continued to buy various mobile fidelity releases, and I've been very happy with all of them. All of the Miles Davis titles are excellent. Have no complaints. Yes, I've had the occasional production defect, which MoFi has always handled very quickly. But what I really wanted to say is it's a shame. Such a shame. It's a shame. The fact that MoFi is using a digital step in the creation of an amazing release, don't get me wrong, should not prevent purists, people that like to call themselves audiophiles, from enjoying this. Let's not put up barriers and walls. Just because something has a digital step in it doesn't necessarily mean that it sounds bad. So I just wanted to point out that maybe we shouldn't act, or people in the vinyl community, audiophiles, so-called audiophiles, shouldn't act like spoiled children who don't get their way and then sulk and maybe want to do a tit for tat because they got insulted, because their whole idea of what is supposed to sound good to them, it all falls apart and you no longer believe in it. And I'm saying this because there are people that are, because of that preconception, that assumption that since it's digital, it's not going to sound good, are missing out on listening to something that is really great, something that they may enjoy thoroughly. So that kind of sucks, doesn't it? Any type of preconception someone may have about something, it's not good. So maybe we should just relax and not take things so seriously and just enjoy music for what it is. So does that mean that most of 90% of the music recorded today is recorded through digital equipment? Does that mean that that automatically the vinyl will not sound good and we shouldn't buy it? No, probably you'd be missing out on some great music only because it was recorded digitally and then put onto a vinyl record. I'll leave the experts talk about why even a digital recorded album will sound better on vinyl, will sound better than your streaming services, will sound better than your CD. That's all I wanted to say, really, is that it's a shame that some people won't be able to enjoy this music from Mobile Fidelity just because they got lied to, or only because it's not all analog. Who cares, right? As long as it sounds good, as long as it sounds better than it ever could sound, right? I'll take a DSD sourced version that sounds great over an all analog version that sounds okay, right? So Maybe those who originally, like me, bought the first two Eagles and said that they sounded fantastic,
2 discs.
thinking that they were all analog, should go ahead and give Hotel California a try. Like maybe it was their original intention.
I really liked when I've heard, oh, they are doing the Eagles, great, I will get those.
After listening to the first two albums. And I have to say, that was my situation. That was my experience. After hearing the first two, thinking they were all analog, I was very pleased. So why not listen to this one, thinking that it's analog, even though it's not? As long as I enjoy it, right? That's all that matters. So I want to leave you with another clip about what really is audiophile, right? Audiophile is the person who, I think this is the definition in the dictionary, that enjoys sound. Yeah, it's about the music. So if a certain type of sound gives you enjoyment, right? And then you consider yourself an audiophile, then maybe you should be open to listening to the sound and the music if you enjoy it without any preconceptions.
This is a very convincing product, and I've listened to enough audiophile releases to know that this is state-of-the-art audiophile stuff.